Okay, here we go. It is the blend. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. Marc Wrzesinski is here. He's a popular guy in town, I have to say, for sure. There he is, Marc. We'll get him on in a little bit. But this is the blend, and a few things happening that we wanted to let everyone know about. First of all, we are going to be giving away a Park Lane bracelet today. So for anyone who does comment on the live show, who shares the live show and likes the live show, you'll be in the running for a Park Lane bracelet. We love giving away stuff.
Yes.
We really, really do. And it's really cool because then we get to go deliver the stuff to people. And sometimes we're a little late in the game or we can't hook it up and everything.
We're still working on a few deliveries.
We're still working on a few. So there's that. And there's another thing that I want to tell you about is we just signed up. This is really, really cool for buy a coffee for us. What is it called? Oh my God. Did we get it right?
Buy us a coffee?
Buy us a coffee.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Hold on a second. Buy me a coffee.
Yeah.
Sorry, so I'll put.
Sorry. I know.
So it'll help support some of our giveaways and the rest. So buymeacoffee.com. There's a link. We're going to be putting that right in there. So if you want to support the show in that way, if you are ever so inclined, we'll do that. So we're going to pop that right in the comments section. But Cara and I were actually going back down memory lane over the last few years. We started our relationship over where? Facebook Messenger.
Yes. Yeah. Facebook Messenger. It's amazing.
Do you remember the first Facebook message that you sent me?
Well, I remember the very first Facebook message that I sent you back when I had the restaurant. And I remember reaching out to be on your radio show to advertise for the restaurant. And you never got back to me.
What?
So
I've heard this story actually.
And I just kind of let it go back then. I think it was probably 2011. And I just let it go. I mean, we were reaching out to everybody just to get some promotions out there. And it may have been before like the holidays and we were trying to advertise our holiday parties and whatever. But yeah, I reached out at that point. And then it was funny because when I was looking for houses in 2019, I had lived in Sheffield, Great Barrington, Sheffield line. And I was looking for houses to get closer to Pittsfield because the commute from where I lived to Reed Middle School was like an hour and 15 minutes every day. And it was like rough in the winter. So John had posted his house on Facebook. And so when I reached out about the house, because we were like, I was down to the wire on finding a house because the house I lived in was sold. And we had like a month and a half to find a house. And we had kids and a dog, and it was like, oh my gosh. So when I went to message you, I saw that text that you never responded to. And I was in Big Y sending the message like, oh, I'd love to look at your house. And when I opened Messenger and saw that you never got back to me, I was like, what a jerk.
Not cool.
But then I let it go. Cool. I'm like, I just really need a house at this point. But anyway.
Yeah. So, yes. And that.
So that was the first time I messaged you. But then fast forward. So then I went and looked at your house. Beautiful house. But it was not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And then I found the house that we live in now. And we were super, super busy just moving in. It was right before the holidays. And I never gave John Krol another thought at all. Sorry, honey. But I just didn't.
Well, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't even message you to thank you for the house or to let you know I wasn't interested in the house. I never even, normally I would message and be like, oh, thank you so much. No, I didn't even do that. We were so busy moving in, and then we had the holidays, and then COVID hit. And and then I had posted a quote in my story on Facebook in probably, I don't know.
I think it was in April. Yeah.
Yeah. And you commented on that quote.
Yeah. And so there it was.
Yeah.
And so that was really where, the relationship kind of started, because we were in our separation situation, and then all of a sudden, bang, there's magic. But the one thing that I realized, that through that time, you kind of look back with rosy colored glasses, and you're kind of like, oh, it was just nice, and like we were in love and falling in love and this and that. But like, I could get kind of snarky back then a little bit. So like, we showed our true personality. It's just that sometimes, like, before you get married, maybe you look back and like, oh, it was just just hunky dory back then. But well,
because it just started, we were just friends gonna meet up for coffee. Honestly,
light and easy.
Yeah, seriously. Like I mean, and then by the time we did, actually, because of COVID, we couldn't really go anywhere. So we waited, I think, until it must have been like early June before we actually got together for that coffee. And that's when it turned into more.
So
early June.
Dating during COVID. But so here's the situation. There are probably a lot of people in the Berkshires who are going through, they've maybe been through separation, and to find love again. And I don't know why I'm turning to Marc Wrzesinski about this, but he just seems like maybe he's the guy to talk to. I don't know but how, like, but there's got to be social opportunity for people out there. But Mark, hey, it's great to see you, man. It's
good to see you. Good to see you.
And I saw Mark this week, actually. He did a photo shoot for 180 Media and did a hell of a job. And he also told me that I should have never shaved my beard.
Yeah, so, this clean shaven thing, it's still throwing me off.
It's not.
I mean, it took me a while to get used to the beard. I was like, oh, John finally grew up and looks like an adult now. And then now he looks younger than me. So like.
So that's your problem.
Yeah,
that's your problem.
Actually, that is the complete problem.
So that's I see. Well,
I'm not shaving though, so
you're not going to do it. You're like, I like the beard. I like the beard, and I liked the beard. I just, want to switch it up a little bit. But the baby face. But what do the kids do now? What do they do? What is this?
I don't even know if it's appropriate or not.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't even know what they're doing, but it's like
they're doing this thing. They're like, this chin, and they go like this, and like it's cool.
Yeah, who
apparently.
knows?
It won't be cool next week, I guess. But it's been.
Well,
but
no, I mean,
I have
you
no
just
idea.
addressed it, so it's now automatically not cool.
Yeah. Well, no, I saw it on an Instagram reel that a mom was like working on her language with the kids, like, oh, how do I talk to the kids nowadays? Like, hey, brah, all this stuff. And then she did the thing, and I was like, okay, so it is definitely mainstream, and I don't know
jawline.
What the hell
I don't really
it is.
know.
I haven't seen this.
Oh
yes. Yeah. Okay. So
the kids are doing it.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it. So just watch any reel. I don't know. There's got to be a name for it. The chin thing. Does anybody know the name of that thing that the kids are doing nowadays?
It strikes me as like being like a
chin.
supervillain thing. You're like, excellent.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery
to us old people.
It's the mystery.
Well, the whole thing, all the lingo, like
my dear
how
Watson, yes. Yes. I'm completely killing it right now. It's not going to be cool after this podcast.
It's done.
Yeah,
it's done.
I mean, it already made Instagram Reels. It's already pretty much done. Like,
oh yeah, remember we were talking about TikTok versus Instagram Reels. So is Instagram Reels like the old Facebook? Like, yeah, is that what it is?
It has to. It's cool on TikTok. By the time it makes it to Reels, so like our age can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already not cool anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why the government wants to get rid of TikTok. Is that why?
Yeah, obviously. They're just like, we don't understand what's this lingo. Yes. We got to get rid of it some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. So a night out for the singles. We are not going to end tonight without having a solution here. And again, we're talking about geography here in the Berkshires, but I guess this could be anywhere USA. But how I'm sure you see a lot of divorcees out there in the nightlife, and you're out there.
Yep, I go to Hot Plate. Let's say there's Hot Plate and there's Methuselah's. Yep, that's about it. Yeah.
Oh, come on, but you do your trivia though. You do your trivia.
That's at Dewey's in Dalton.
At Dewey's, okay. All right.
I mean, what do we define as nightlife? Because there's dinner time, and then
listen,
going out to the bar should be 9 o'clock. Like, oh, all right, let's go get drinks, and then it's that's tough pretty much anywhere in Berkshire County right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, we'll see. I mean, yeah. Okay.
What time do places close? Like 9?
9.
Yeah, 9.
I sent a guy yesterday down to Lenox for food because the only place I could think of besides Applebee's,
Yes. I know.
was Umbra. Was the only thing open on a
Umbra.
Monday after 9.
There
Wow.
you go.
Yeah.
There
And
you
luckily
go.
he was like, "Oh, I'm staying in Lenox." I was like, "Oh, just go there." I was like, "Your
Yeah.
problem solved."
Do you remember that night after one of the debates and
Yes.
we couldn't figure out where to go?
Downtown Pittsfield on a Friday night at 9:30, and there wasn't a single
Nothing.
place open
Yeah.
serving food.
Yeah.
In retrospect, Methuselah's might have been like right on the edge of like serving entrees
Yeah.
and stuff.
But there were like, what, 6 of us, and we were
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we ended up at Applebee's.
Yeah, that was just.
Or
the
no,
place-
did we go to Patrick's? Or did
No, we
we?
wanted to go to Patrick's.
Oh, that's right. We wanted to go to Patrick's,
We
but
wanted
yeah.
to.
Because Patrick's used to be the old reliable, like
Right.
11 o'clock every night, and like
Right.
it's kind of like one of those things right now. I get it, where you're like, oh, well, no one goes out, so we're not going to stay open. But I go, no one goes out because no one's open.
Yeah.
Well, and it also takes a while for things to catch on.
Right.
When you're used to things not being open, it takes a while. There used to be plenty of places. I mean, I remember a night not starting until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'd go to like Hotel on North. There was that wine bar. What was it called?
Bricks.
Bricks.
Yeah,
Bricks, yep.
I
We
used
go
to
to
love
Bricks.
that place. I
Yeah.
used to
Bricks
love
was
that
great.
place.
Yeah. Those were good times.
Yep.
Good
Plus,
times.
Brewworks were still crushing it in that era.
Yes. Yep.
And that was actually, if it was Bricks, no, it was still Jay's back then.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And credit to Jay. I mean,
Yep.
you could go there and get sushi till like 10 o'clock easy.
Yeah.
I think 11 on
Yeah.
Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those were good times. So we got to bring that back a little bit.
We
But what can we do? What can we do? I guess to help out. You know, because Cara and I, we were actually even talking about this, even hosting like a dating night or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, when I was hosting,
blend.
when I was hosting the workshop, the writing workshop at BCC, some of the participants were like at a loss because they didn't know where to go to meet people. And so I had this idea, and I hear it from everyone, like, where do you go? I mean, you don't really want to meet someone in a bar. You know, people are like, I don't want to meet someone in a bar, but there's got to be something for people to do where they can meet like-minded people. And
Well, I think one of the good things, I got to give credit to Jess Rufo. I really do, because the fact that Dottie's is now like open all day again.
yeah,
Like, you can actually, I mean, she's not open crazy late. I would love her to get back to mission hours, but no worries, Jess, no pressure. But I mean, you can go get a coffee at 6:30, 7 o'clock now and hang out at Dottie's again. Like, you don't
Oh,
have to
that's
go for
cool. I
cocktails.
didn't know
You
that.
can go
Oh, that's
and hang
awesome.
out in any of the 3 spaces and sit
because
and have a coffee.
back, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 6 years, when I was completely single and I was dating, there was really no coffee shop that you could go to. Like, after we went out to dinner or whatever, we'd end up at Chocolate Springs.
Yep.
They were open a little bit later on
Yeah,
certain
they were usually,
nights.
yeah, like Fridays and Saturdays. It was like usually
Yeah.
like 10, which was cool.
Yep. To get a coffee.
to get a coffee.
Yeah.
To get a coffee. So how are we helping out singles here? Are you saying that it's hopeless? So what do people do? I mean, so you know, we were in a scenario where it was in the middle of COVID, so it was harder than any time really in the world. But in some ways, it was actually easier because there was well, think about it this way. You really didn't have a lot of other distractions like you normally would. So, to some extent, it was kind of like you had like a control factor. So if you had like this one-on-one relationship going on Facebook Messenger, because that's the only way you could communicate, maybe that there's advantageousness to that.
Yeah. And that doesn't always happen, though. I mean,
COVID, no.
no, how you and I
not.
haven't, how you and I haven't does not normally happen. I mean, I never expected that. We were chatting about a podcast and publishing a book briefly, and then it was like, fast forward a few months, we finally meet up for coffee to discuss publishing and podcasting, and like I had no thoughts of like you in my future, and then that just happened. So I feel like there was like a greater power at work there, but it doesn't happen like that for everyone. So sometimes you need a little push. You need something. You need a place for people to go and things like that. So I think that should still be on the table, that we offer like a blend night somewhere. And do like an open mic type of thing. I think that would be fun. Like offer an open mic, maybe a trivia night. Mark can come do trivia.
Yeah, let's
That'd be
do
fun.
that. We'll do the blend night once a month.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think that would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
And we'll host it at a
Mark?
different location so that
Yeah.
we support the local businesses. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They just have to stay open past 9. Like,
They-
that's the new
exactly.
rule.
I mean,
Yes.
you know, and
Just for that one night. Like,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
funny. I remember years ago, though, there was Berkshire Flirt was kind of trying to do that for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't think like any of the people that were like running that are in the Berkshires anymore. But
No, it felt like, I can't remember.
I didn't even know about
Who
it.
were those people?
it was oh my god, I'm blanking on names. Stephanie Mendoza was one of them. She worked at Barrington Stage.
yeah.
She has
And,
bounced all around the country. We're still
yeah,
Facebook
she was,
friends.
like, in
so I always,
Houston.
like, keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She went to
Houston. She was
Houston,
like
and
in Egypt for like a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
Recently, I was like looking at photos. And I was like, oh, good for Stephanie.
Yeah, no. I had them on the radio show, actually. I remember that. So it was Stephanie and
Julia.
And Julia. And
Yep.
Julia's married. And
Yep.
she's with Tony Dunn, who's a great guy. He's a producer, formerly with, I think, NEPM. And he did the TV station, too. So you know, so she's past all of that, perhaps.
She's past the flirting.
She's
yeah.
you know, so there needs to be a new generation, but
So there you go, the blend can take it
then,
over.
But
Yeah.
then at the same time, you know, you look at it, and there are so many outlets. We did talk about all the dating sites, but those are landmines. You know, Mark, you've been on
they can be.
You've been on a dating site.
No, never.
You don't have to be embarrassed, Mark. It's okay.
I'm 37 and single. Yeah, just name a dating site. I've probably been on it. But I'm still gonna say Tinder's still the gold standard.
Really?
the gold standard.
It's the one everyone uses.
Wow.
So,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was the hookup app.
Tinder was for me like a reality TV show.
oh, it still is.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
only one everyone is on.
Wow.
No matter how much somebody who's single denies it, they're on Tinder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't deny it. I'm like, I'm on Tinder. Like, yep, it's fine.
You're on Tinder. You're on
I mean,
Tinder.
it was fun sometimes, and then other times it was depressing. Like, it was lonely. Because then you're like, oh my gosh. What
Or
am I
just
doing?
terrifying. Because,
Right.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. So some people are not truthful at all on those apps. They can put any profile picture, any information,
Yeah.
like
Did you
no
get
one's
catfished?
checking it.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean,
It happened.
yes. So
happens.
there was this guy, nice guy, and it was early on in the dating app world for me. I had no idea, and I'm like, oh, so we were texting nonstop for like 3 weeks. I didn't meet him. His picture looked okay, whatever. And then we decided to talk on the phone, and I am a person, and I don't know what it is, but the voice is
Wait a minute.
important to
We
me.
got a good story here to tell you.
Yeah, we'll tell that story
boy.
after. But the voice is important
The
to me
voice.
because I am intuitive. I pick up on things, and the voice has energy for me. And so I have to hear someone's voice, and then I can like get an idea of the person. Well, once we talked on the phone, I was kind of like, I don't know. His voice was weird. And then, so I was like, all right, well, I need to be more open-minded. So we met at Mission.
Solid meeting spot.
Right. So I come
Right.
in,
So
and
far,
I
so
sit
good.
down at the bar. And then I turn, and there is this gentleman next to me. And I'm not even joking. And I'm not making fun. But he was very much a lot shorter than me. Very much so.
Come on,
Like-
short kings are in right now. Cara.
Well, like under 5 foot.
And he lied in his profile.
Well, yeah.
because-
See, it's not the height. It's the dishonesty.
Exactly. And so the thing of it was, I had heels on. So it made me like 5'9", right? 5'10". I don't know, I'm 5'7", add 3-inch heels, high heel boots. And I didn't recognize him because it wasn't his picture. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking around, and then he
Well,
turns.
You were expecting the picture to be here,
Yes.
and he was all the way down here.
Yes.
and I'm not making fun of short guys.
Oh my gosh,
Right,
no,
right.
and I'm not making fun.
I'm not. I can't.
Right, I'm not
tall.
making fun, but he was not truthful, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, if he's lying about this, what? Like, who is this guy?"
I mean, that's a common thing
Yeah.
dudes lie about.
yeah, but this was like we're talking like
The
probably
height or
2
the
feet.
height?
But
That's like a meme online. That's like,
He didn't say he was 5'10". He said he was like 6'3", 6'4", and he
man.
was probably about 4'11". I'm not even joking.
I guess what goes into the mentality.
did he just
of
like
that?
reverse the height in the inches
I
part?
think he
Yeah.
did.
Is it one of those things where like you think, well, you know what, if I get to the date, then I can win her over or something like that.
I mean,
you know?
you could like round up and say you're like by like an inch or two, like, you know, but like.
But the lying part, like that part was like weird to me. So I'm like, so I sat and had the conversation, and then I'm like, this isn't working because everything, it just didn't feel right. I couldn't get past the fact that he used a different profile picture. He looked like a big stocky guy, and that was not who he was, and whatever. So I had to I text my cousin to give me the emergency call. So she calls me. It's like this emergency call, and I'm like, oh, I have to go. It's the babysitter. And I felt bad doing that.
You know there's an emergency call, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've had one genuinely bad date where like she
"Oh."
like pulled it, and I'm just sitting there going, I know what you're doing. I wasn't like, I was kind of like I was like okay with not having a second
I'm not holding
date.
you hostage. You
You
can go anytime.
we literally are sitting outside, and this was also COVID era dating. So yeah, I went, cool, yep. Just
Okay.
as soon as I knew it, I was like, she goes, did you want to like split? I was like, yeah, actually, I do want to split dinner, and I never do that.
Oh man. Well, good. Well, hey, good for you.
Yeah.
You know.
But I was honest
women's
with
rights.
him. I was honest with him because I couldn't leave him hanging like that. But I did let him know, the picture just doesn't match up, and I can't trust you. And it's like, so that kind of thing would happen, where people wouldn't use the profile picture, or they'd use a profile picture from like 15 years prior, and then you're like, okay, not that looks are everything, but
No,
it's not
but-
honest.
Use like reasonably like recent picture, unless you just
Yeah.
haven't aged in like 5
Right.
years. Some people do that. I mean, John's aging in reverse. We got Benjamin Button over here.
I am now 26 years old. Okay, with no beard. Okay, so and Susan Coldis says I vote for clean shaven. Okay. Anna Marinero is watching. Anna Raphael is watching. Marc Wrzesinski, hello, how you doing? Pam Malnati is watching, and others. So hi everybody, and do put a comment in there. Get you in the running for the bracelet. You have the bracelet here. Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna hold it up.
Got a Park Lane bracelet. Ooh, that is nice.
It's very fancy.
That is nice.
Yes.
And
nice.
do see the buymeacoffee.com link in our comments. That helps us with our giveaways, of course. Have some
Supports
fun.
the podcast.
Supports the podcast. We're building a newsletter, building a community, and have on our group on Facebook.
And if you haven't joined the group,
yeah,
let us know. We'll send you the link because we sometimes post things in there that, little extra information. We'll be posting a lot more in the future.
absolutely.
So,
Some behind the
Absolutely.
scenes stuff,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
So-
do some blooper reels in there.
That one's not going up there.
We got the blooper reels. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We got them. So, okay. So, yep, the Buy Me a Coffee link. We got the Park Lane jewelry. And then, the other thing is, so Mark is a photographer.
So that was pretty fun. Yeah, no, I've done those over the years. Like, they're fun. I mean, there is an entire industry in boudoir of like women getting these photos done for themselves. So, and a lot of times it's more for themselves. And yeah, it's a great gift, but I'm like, no, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
But
Well,
no, you wanted the funny story.
I want to hear the funny story. So okay. So here's the hypothetical. The wife goes to Mark and says, "Hey, I want to spice things up a little bit. I want to do a shoot and give it to my husband, and he'll like really love it, and it'll spice things up and so forth." So then they come to you.
That's great. That's how it should always be. My funny story is, he must have started. So it was a husband who had found my information, called me, and he's like, oh, I really want to like do a shoot for my wife, and like calls me up, and he's kind of like nervous, geeky on the phone. He's an older guy. I'm like, okay. He goes, oh, like just like, oh, like that type of voice. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so he would call me, and he would like chew my ear off for like 40 minutes. Like, oh, that's kind of what I want. And like, I'm like, yep, we can do that.
Well, what do you want?
Well, he's like, oh, I want topless. I want this. I was like, okay. And he goes, would you be willing to do it like outdoors and stuff like that? I was like,
oh man, we're getting
I'm
really
like, oh,
man.
Okay.
This guy's got some specifics here.
So, right. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, yep. I was like, we'll talk it over to your wife. Like, make sure like that's what her comfort level is. I was like, if she wants to get a hold of me, that's great. Like, I'm the one shooting with her. I was like, so I got to talk to her for specifics and all that. And he goes, all right, yeah, I'll get a hold of you. She never calls me. I just don't think about it. A year later, I swear it's like a year to the day later, I get a phone call.
They got on their calendar.
Same thing. It like goes through the whole same spiel again. I was like, oh, that's funny. He goes, yeah. Oh, my birthday's coming up, so I'm really trying to get her to do it now. I'm like, okay. Just like clockwork a year later. Because obviously I'm roughly figuring out when this guy's birthday is. I think it's in July. I'm waiting, and I'll get a phone call this year. 5 years. 5 years in a row, he has called me.
So you've never talked to the wife.
I've never talked to the wife. I've never talked to, and I found out like the last time he called me, he was like, I just went. I was like, dude, I'm so busy right now. Which, in fairness, it's June. I am extremely busy.
Maybe he wants to come for a photo shoot.
I will charge him a little more.
Oh my god!
I'm like not kidding. Like he calls me every time, and I'm almost going.
Oh my god!
Is there like some weird thing I don't know?
Yeah, this is
going on. Like
something like fetishy.
So
like,
basically, what I'm saying is that's the wrong way to do these kind of shoots. Is
if the man is pushing it.
Yeah, I was like, she's not gonna be comfortable doing this.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so because I mean the women, I mean obviously they will want to do it if they're going to do that,
right.
but it's a thing. Like I see more and more of those people who are sort of specializing in that. They probably do, like you do wedding photography and things like that, but like this is like a niche market, and the niche is there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, like
I only know of like 2 other people women that do the boudoir photography.
There definitely was like
there's probably more,
a lot for a while, and then it kind of like it goes up and down. I feel like in the Berkshires.
Yeah.
In the Berkshires.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the outside the Berkshires?
Oh, it's a huge industry outside the Berkshires.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Like that's like a big deal. I mean, what does that say about people, like psychologically? Like,
I mean,
like women want to be beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And they, and everything.
And there is something liberating. I've never had a shoot done like that, but I would imagine, because the people that I know who have done it, especially if like they have recently lost weight, or maybe they got like a few tattoos that they want to show off, or things like that, it's very liberating, and like it makes them feel beautiful, and so it's a pretty cool service to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's cool. And now, how did you start? Because you do editorial shoots. We've talked about this in the past, with the ladies, and they're pretty racy sometimes. How did you get into that?
I asked him that. I was like, "How did he get into that?" He's like, "Well, we'll have to ask him."
We'll have to ask him.
Purely by chance. I had gotten into photography, and like the nature of photography and everything else. I just camera geek. I was like, yeah. And I happened to date a girl who was like, oh, would you take modeling photos of me? And I was like, sure, I don't know what I'm doing. So I did. And they were, I mean, if I looked at them now, I'd be like, oh, dear God. But they were okay. For a guy who, with a very base level camera, didn't really know what he was doing with lighting, they were okay. But I learned a lot. I'm learning posing. I'm learning all this other stuff. Well, then, her friends, saw, they're like, oh, well, we want shoots. So it just kind of, snowballed from there. But I always laughed, the modeling stuff was, the best photography school of all time.
Yeah.
You have willing subjects to put up with you while you're moving and switching lights around and, angles and, So it's funny, all the racy editorial stuff I've done has paid off for every wedding I've ever done. It's paid off for headshots.
So yeah, because I was gonna say I don't know if you've made millions off of those editorial shoots.
No,
probably not. I feel like you probably didn't maybe charge much.
Here and there. I mean, it
depends.
It depends. It is business. I mean, like I had I had a few shoots in January, like, which hopefully will be featured on a certain website.
Good.
Yeah.
Which website?
Playboy.
Oh my!
Nice.
Oh my gosh, Mark, you're going
That
up.
would be
Slowly but
cool.
surely getting there.
You're
Yeah,
going up
yeah.
the.
Yeah.
You're going up the ladder here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a lot more like working with like just the full-on professional models at this point. I don't do as much with like the rookie amateur models anymore because that can also have a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
So there it is. So that's part of the thing. Like you hustle, you get those jobs, you get your, you perfect your craft, and then, the wedding has got to be the biggest margin shoot that you have. No?
Commercial is so much better.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Really?
Weddings are fun. I like shooting weddings, but like I have this thing about weddings where I'm like, I like to charge a fair amount for Berkshire County.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about this with like how much photographers charge for weddings, and I'm always like, sometimes I'm like, how are you charging that much to a client? And then I go, you're smarter than me. That's why you're doing it that much.
Yeah.
But even so, I'm like, it's Berkshire County, like, and depending what the delivery is, I'm like,
Well, there's two trains of thought. The train of thought is, well, the market is whatever someone's willing to pay for something.
Right.
That's one side of things. But then the other thing is, all right, how do I balance that with valuing, my time? And of course, people can say, well, I'm worth $500 an hour or whatever that may be. But let's be realistic here. I mean, when you have to pay $10,000 for a wedding shoot, or
I mean,
$6,000 or $7,000,
that better be including a second shooter all day. That better
Yeah.
be including a videographer,
Right.
like potentially a photo booth or something like
I
that.
mean, that's
there's
one
a lot
day.
of features, but
yeah.
yeah, it's a crazy industry. But like, I always kind of laugh. People are like, oh, why is this so expensive? I'm like, okay, I have equipment. Oh, you want your photos? Well, I'm posting them on the website that I'm always paying for. Oh, like you want a USB drive? Well, I'm buying that. Oh, it's like,
Yeah.
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 I have insurance for liability. Like, people forget that it is actually a business. And I always like warn like photographers starting out. I was like, don't undersell yourself too much. I go, because you'll end up working for like less than minimum wage by the time you're done.
Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. When you add it all up, and so when you see that top line check that you have to pay, realize that there's a lot more that goes into it. That's any small business.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine when you're shooting a wedding or something like that, like the positions too, because like at our wedding, John's cousin shot our wedding, and like she was on the floor at some points, and like in weird positions and whatnot, all over the place all night.
It helps to stretch before a wedding.
Yeah. And I noticed that.
And Mark was there, not the whole night.
Yeah, Mark
but
came later.
I made it through the snowstorm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He made it through. All right, so everybody watching, make sure you give us a like. We did actually kind of go off for that. It looked like for about a minute or so. We lost our feed for about a minute, so we lost some viewers. But bring it back on, and make sure you like the live video. That helps our reach. Thank you very much, and also
Well,
puts you in the running for a Park Lane bracelet right there. And then also check out our buymeacoffee.com link. It's buymeacoffee.com/theblend.
And I'll hold the bracelet up one more time for anybody who. So there's the bracelet. It's gold.
It is. Maybe even a little closer there.
Yeah.
A little closer there. That really is pretty.
Yeah.
Park Lane jewelry.
And it's adjustable. All the bracelets are adjustable. So
Very nice.
it's nice.
Very nice. So, looking at that, being a small business owner, now you do have a day job gig.
Yes.
So you're kind of cheating, but
I like to be able to pay my mortgage. The bank enjoys me paying my mortgage on time. I like
Bank
to be able to buy
schmank.
camera gear.
Oh wait, let me see that new camera.
Yeah, we got the little fun one.
Let's see that. Hold it up a little bit there. So that to me looks like it looked like an old camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought. Is it an older?
I thought it was
Nope.
an
Brand new.
antique. I thought it was an antique.
So Nikon just put theirs out, but like Fuji's been big on it too, like that like Fuji camera that everybody wants to buy, the XV100 V whatever it's called. But it sold out like instantaneously.
Wow.
They're all the very retro designed bodies again,
yeah,
Yeah.
which is definitely in. But my whole thing is I just wanted a smaller camera.
You want a smaller camera, but how does it feel like in your hand? Because ergonomically,
The one thing
like,
this one I did have to do was get the grip.
yeah.
So
So that's
I
a
added the
separate
grip.
piece.
You paid extra for the grip.
It came with the camera, which was cool. Nikon was smart about that because they realized 2 seconds later. But yeah, it's a lot nicer. It can slip in my coat pocket.
Yeah. That's
Very
awesome.
nice. I love that. And like the quality is. I assume it's great.
Same, pretty much some same sensors as my like main ones.
Sensors.
Yeah.
Like what are the sensors?
So,
do?
like megapixels. It's less megapixels, but like your low light ability, all the quality. Like it's mirrorless. It has the eye autofocus, so the car can see it.
Yep.
Like,
That is nice.
That's awesome. Oh, the eyes.
Yep. Immediately focuses to the eye.
That's cool.
Nikon versus Canon.
Nikon's obviously better. Let's just end
Now,
the war
why
right
is
there.
that? But now Nikon. Now they are discontinuing that long range lens. Did you hear that? They made this.
Well, all the old SLR lenses are being retired
Why?
because the technology's changed. It's mirrorless.
Okay.
So they're
What is that?
retiring it because they're making a newer version of the lens.
But can you shoot as far?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
Oh yeah, it's just Canon's doing the exact same thing. Fuji's doing the same thing. Sony's not.
I mean, people are
because
able to
Sony
take-
didn't ever have those lenses in the
I
first
mean,
place.
literally, these lenses you can shoot things that are like 60 or 70 miles away or something like that.
That's
It's like,
that's pretty far.
I mean, it is far.
Wasn't there, which camera was that they took off the market?
That's what I'm asking about.
Yeah.
This Nikon.
Oh, the like P900 series.
P9, yeah.
Well, the whole purpose of that camera was just for crazy long range, but otherwise it wasn't a particularly good camera.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay. But anyway, but it's a thing.
Well, they just haven't sold. I mean, Nikon actually for the first time in like years is like profitable again, which is cool.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then why are they better than Canon? I'm sorry.
Well, I always say it's ergonomics and all that and low light, but I mean, Canon's great. I'm not gonna knock Canon that hard. It's just everything on Canon is backwards.
Well, we got a Canon. We're
Yeah.
well represented. I got a Canon.
You have Canon, Sony, and
That's a-
Nikon filming.
Yes.
So
It's-
yeah. Oh, that's a Sony too.
Yeah,
forgot
I would
about
be
that.
like having an aneurysm trying to control all of these going. I had to shoot an event a few years back, and one of my cameras like
Wait, hold on a second. It's just for everyone's. So that's Nikon right there, but that's an older
that is an old Nikon
camera. This isn't even 1080, and people probably laugh and say, okay, the camera that's on John isn't even like wide. You can see like in the screen, it's not quite as wide as the other ones. But the reason is because it's a really great old Nikon that I converted and I hacked. I literally had to go into the computer, hack it with some sort of
firmware. Yep.
Yeah.
and make it work for a podcast. But it's a pretty good camera. And then we have Cara with the Canon, and that's a type of EOS, and that's basically made for vlogging.
Yep.
Vlogging.
That's one of
Yeah.
the mirrorless Canons.
And then there's this Sony, which is
That's an old Sony Handycam.
it's,
I mean,
it's
those
an old
things are
handicap.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works. It works. It still works.
That's what I'm on. I'm on the old camera. Thanks.
Well, we got to give. I
knew Cara was gonna get the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. That one is just a bit much. I like the new camera.
I love it. So Dottie Demuro-Litz says, "Hi, Mark."
Hi, Dottie.
Yeah, Anna Marinero asks, "Hey, Mark, what made you interested in photography? What was it?"
I don't know.
'Cause it happened- 'cause it
Honestly, I
happened-
just remember stealing my mom's camera, like old chintzy basic Kodak, like even when I was a kid, and like driving her nuts because it was still film.
Yep.
So I would shoot and like, waste an entire roll of film just shooting random stuff, and she'd be like, "This costs money," and I was like, "I don't know, I'm a kid. I don't care. I'm like
Yeah.
10." So no, I just always liked photography, and during my indentured servitude at Best Buy, the discounts were great, so.
You just got into
I
it.
ended up buying a camera setup, and
I'm pretty sure. Wait, hold on a second. So to tie it all together, this camera here that you're looking at, Mark sold that to me.
you and every other photographer
is
in
so
this county.
funny.
What is that? The
D5100.
D5100. That's
So
what it
you
is.
remember him selling you the camera?
No, yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah, because
I sold Casey her first camera from Best Buy too.
Casey Don Burke.
Yeah, that she took our
Yeah, I know.
picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were there.
I know.
See,
Trust me, if you're an aspiring photographer in Berkshire County, I've probably gotten you started.
so I forgot. Yeah, we Mark and I have had many lives together. Like
It's
I
true.
mean, you go to the Best Buy days, and then I'm sure there's like about
Drinking at
six,
Spice Day.
6 different iterations. Spice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we drink a Spice
Yeah.
together? Oh my god.
Well, that's how I met Chris and Greg Yan. was
There
through
you go.
you
And
at
we
Spice.
were sitting there a third Thursday one night.
Making fun of you, basically. It was
Making
pretty
fun of
good,
me.
That's how Greg and I
didn't-
immediately bonded.
I didn't have a beard at the time, and now I'm back to that.
Yeah.
So
See,
okay,
it's full circle.
Yes.
and then
As long as I don't have to work about it.
Yeah.
and Dottie says indentured servitude at Best Buy, laughy face. And I have an old Minolta, says Susan Corncolas.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
What do you think about that camera?
Would depend on which camera model it is, but the Minoltas were great. Minolta did go away. The company doesn't exist anymore. Sony bought them. Sony actually bought them to like originally start their like camera business on like SLRs, and then just
Phased them
shifted
out,
everything
yeah.
over to the mirrorless. But yeah, I mean, technically, old Minolta designs still influence current Sony stuff. So
Yeah, so it's basically Sony now.
Yeah.
I mean, but I
I've
do remember
only ever
that.
had Canon and Sony as cameras.
Yes.
The little video camera like that one. I had one. It was blue.
the handy cam.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I had a red Canon that was pretty decent.
I have an old Sony high like 8mm like handycam, like the bulky old ones that
Wow.
like it still works. The batteries
Yeah.
still work like a charm. Like, I mean, it's a pain because it's analog, so you have to like try to convert the files over.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. Well, let's throw out to the viewers.
but it works. Like it's
Throw out to the
honestly-
viewers. What was your favorite camera? Or what is your favorite camera? Or do you have a camera that you love? And there is an old saying that what is your favorite camera? Well, the one that you have in your hand, which today is basically your cell phone.
But that's why I bought one of
That's-
these, because I wanted something a
Yeah.
little nicer than the cell phone camera.
And so what's the difference? Just a higher quality.
Yeah, I mean, aperture control, shutter control, like the sensor's obviously much larger. So bigger sensor, more data, better photos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think too, like with the iPhone, I don't really know how to take pictures with it, but I imagine if I did, they'd come out a lot better.
Well, a lot of
A lot of
times,
tricks.
too, is the phone doesn't let you make the choice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's all the computational algorithms now, which is amazing. Like the pixels are the same way. Like you take a photo and it's like the iPhone is like immediately correcting the light.
Yeah.
And like so John's face would be like perfectly lit even though there's a backlight on him right now. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. So do you want all that to go, or the purist would say, well, wait a minute, I want to find the light myself. I want to be able to have the iPhone just basically corrects everything.
yeah, I mean it's I like having some manual controls, but yeah, it is nice when you have a phone that can just take the photo and you don't have to worry about it. Because again, it's better to just get the photo and not miss the moment than,
Right.
especially if you don't know what you're doing with the camera.
We're gonna create a training with Marc Wrzesinski, and he's
Yeah.
gonna do a basic training for photography 101. We're gonna put
Yeah.
that
So
up.
I'm back at Best Buy. Okay.
Yeah, except you're gonna make money doing it.
Okay, that part's different.
We'll charge everyone $27 to go in and watch
Yeah.
your training,
And then market it online.
And market it online
to hundreds
And,
of thousands of people.
And,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we just get a little cut of it because we do it for it, and there you go.
That
This
would
is-
be a great class.
This is what we do. This is what we do. Okay,
Yeah.
so and Anna Marinero says, "Wow, my son John Luke worked at Best Buy.
I remember John Luke.
He studied photography and shot all the sports at MCLA. Won an award for his photography. So, tell me about John Luke."
I mean, I remember working with him. It's been a long time since Best Buy.
Come on, you don't remember John Luke like to a T? No, that's.
I feel
awesome.
like all
Yeah.
Best Buy stories should be
When
like
did
buried
Best Buy go out? Like 7 years ago?
at least.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was gone well before then.
Yeah. It's been a long time, but
I actually really loved going there.
I was a teenager when I started working at Best Buy.
Wow.
It was one of the go-to places at the mall. You would go there,
So
and
I
even if you
don't
didn't buy
know.
anything, you could just look at stuff
Yep.
and you could do your kind of research and just like whatever. But
I worked at the mall, but I was before you were probably there.
You weren't at Best Buy.
I was not at Best Buy. I was at.
Where did you work?
I worked at Bath and Body Works,
Nice.
Yeah.
and I worked at County Seat. And
What was County Seat?
County Seat was like a jean store. We sold a lot of CK jeans, denim, mostly denim, in like t-shirt type things. But that's where I got the CK overalls.
Was that
County
like the
Seat.
kind of countryish store almost?
No, there was a country leather store. No, County Seat was like a knockoff Guess.
Okay.
It was kind of like Guess, had the same kind of stuff as Guess, but it was County Seat.
Was it Regal or Hoyt's when you were there for the theater?
It was Hoyt's.
Okay, so there we go. That's how we can do the difference.
Yep, it was Hoyt's.
Oh yeah,
I worked at Regal, and it had switched over from Hoyt's like a year later.
Yeah, but I worked there, and then the lingerie factory. That was my very first retail job. Was at the lingerie factory.
It's amazing.
That was in 90.
I've never even heard of that place.
1995.
Obviously, pre-Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret was there, but
it was there?
but the lingerie.
We had 2 lingerie shops. In
but
Berkshire Mall.
what
happened to this town?
But the lingerie factory had a lot of undergarments, like Spank type things, and like pajamas and things like that. And there was lingerie.
Everything Victoria's Secret does now.
Yeah.
So they were just ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, all right.
But here's the thing about that place. I worked there. I was 17, and I worked Friday night, and then Saturday I was scheduled to go in for like a 4 o'clock shift, and I got a call at like 7 o'clock in the morning that the store was closed. They came in the middle of the night, cleared everything out. Everybody was done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine if that was my fault, because the managers, they had no idea. Wow. So yeah, they just came in, they cleaned it all out, and I was there the night before working.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre.
You were like, if I had known, I would have left with a lot more stuff. Which is why they did that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they just jumped ship and cleared everything out, and then I think after that I went to the Lee Outlets.
Yeah.
And I worked at J. Crew. I worked at Gas first, and then J. Crew.
And by the way, Susan Geller says, hi, John, Cara, and Mark.
Hello.
And hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
And Dottie also said, Best Buy and Sears, the good old days.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Sears.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Sears, that was like, that hung in there for a long, long time.
I mean,
actually.
my mom worked there for 37 years.
Wow. No kidding.
She got a pension out of
Wow.
Sears.
Get out of town.
I am not kidding. She cashed it in immediately because she was like, oh, this is not going to last. Like, Sears would, end up closing down, almost corporate-wide, 3 years later.
She's like, I'm not rolling the dice on that one. No. I'm not rolling the dice on that one. But,
and then Klein's. Remember Klein's?
Klein's All Sports.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
I did
great.
KB Toys. I mean, I feel like you didn't live in Berkshire County if you didn't have... If you or your family member didn't work for KB's at some point.
Yeah.
I did. My brother did.
Wow.
Yep.
I was mostly at Toy Works, though, the Allendale.
Oh, yeah, Toy Works.
Yeah, Toy Works was there.
That was that at the mall? That was at the Allendale, right?
Yep, that was Allendale. That's where it's Greylock Bank and Insurance now, which is still weird every time I go in there, and I'm like, this used to be a lot cooler when it was a toy store.
That was a cool toy store. It was big.
It was huge. Oh, and I was a teenager.
You're telling me it's not cool
there.
as a bank branch?
No, it's cool. I mean, my old Best Buy boss works there. 2 of my old bosses from Best Buy both work at Greylock, though.
Oh,
so,
wow.
every time I go in, I see them, and it's just immediately like, hey!
I'm working at a bank now. Yep. Susan Korn-Kolda says, I took a photography course at BCC many years ago, took black and white pictures. I loved developing the pictures. The teacher was Nick
DeCandia.
DeCandia.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
remember Nick?
Tell me about Nick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he and I did not get along.
Wait. See, I can't see that.
Nice guy. We just immediately was like, he is a purist of film.
Okay.
It was just really funny because it would have had to have been like 05 or 06. God. And I just remember him going, digital's a fad. Because at that point he was like, if you want to be in my class, you gotta go buy this film camera and buy all. And I was just going, I'm a broke college student.
Yeah.
This was an elective. Yeah, whatever. I had already taken a photography class with Tom Tyning the semester before, who didn't care one way or the other.
Yeah.
But his nature photography class was great. I don't know if he still teaches it, because if he does, I would recommend it to everyone.
That's amazing.
Yeah. My daughter said recently that she wants to be a photographer, and she wants to be like an ocean photographer and like a
the get rich really slowly plan.
And I said to her, I'm like, well, I don't know, honey, but you never know. She wanted to be like a, just something on a boat with the animals and the sea life.
So she's going in the cage with the great whites.
That's what she wants. That's what she says she wants to do.
I mean, I've always said that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
A marine biologist is what she wants to do. So she's taking science classes and she does well, and then she's going to take photography in the
Nice.
fall. So we'll
So
see.
So we're gonna get her a Nikon.
So Susan said, yeah, he was pretty strict. He was talking about.
Yep, okay.
Talking about Nick.
Nice guy though. I did
interesting.
like Nick.
Now-
We just immediately was like headbutting, and I'll never forget. Digital's a fad, and I'm going.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Writing was already on the wall back
Yeah.
then, Nick. But okay.
So it's interesting. I think actually tonight on Facebook we're actually competing with the public hearing on trash.
Oh no!
So I'm like, I was just like making sure because I'm checking the different accounts as we're making sure I'm not missing any comments at all. So so they were live. I don't know when it started, but so that was happening.
Yep. First class, he had an argument with a student. Yep,
Yeah,
that sounds about
Oh
right.
man!
Oh man,
He was a great photographer.
I love
though.
that.
Like I've seen his stuff. He does great work.
high intensity. So yeah, we got the anyway. So people were asking about that because even Susan, I know, had said, well, we want to hear about what you think about the trash. We talked about it last week a little bit, but what I would say is this: if you're going to take away unlimited trash pickup for everyone in the city, you better save more than $80,000 a year. How about that? I mean, is that a fair assessment? Mark, I know you live by yourself, right? You're not like
No, I've got my.
you got
my
okay.
buddies still living in the house. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So I mean, you don't have 7 like us producing trash, but 48 gallons.
I mean, we filled a recycle bin though. I have a 50-gallon, so I have toters already. I went to Home Depot. Like when I bought my house, I have a 50-gallon. So of course that won't work. But yeah, I have a 50-gallon trash.
we got a
50-gallon
toter too.
recycle.
We got a toter too. It doesn't-
Yeah.
They're great, but I fill my recycle one without fail every single time. Trash maybe half bags, but yeah, I don't have kids.
Yeah.
It's two single guys living in a house. Like we don't produce that much trash, and we're good about recycling.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not really going to impact you per se. I think it's the people who produce more. If you're saying it's got to fit into 48 gallons,
It's just going to create more dumping on the side of
I'm
the road.
afraid
Honestly,
for that
that's
because
what's gonna
here's the
happen.
thing: my parents are landlords in the city, and there was already a problem with people dumping at their dumpsters, like
Yeah.
leaving stuff around, and that's a real problem. It's just going to make it worse.
Well, even like the dumpster for this building when we had the office downstairs, like it's locked. You have to have a key to get to the dumpster
Yeah.
for this building. It was. I just remember having so much cardboard in the office all the time, and I just was like tearing my hair out trying to
That's
get rid
why
of it.
we have cardboard.
Yep.
we have some cardboard up here. We got to break down, but that's okay. We'll do that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like if you're going to say that you're doing it to save money, well, it better save money, because it seems to me that saving approximately 80,000, and they can say, well, once they throw it all out and they do the disposal, they're going to save money on that end. Well, show me, what is that, and how much is more recycling going to save you? Because I don't even know if having more recycling is actually going to save us that much money. Recycling is more expensive now. And then the other thing is,
Also,
we've talked
because
about
a lot
this.
of the recycling just gets thrown into the trash.
Exactly.
And you want to know
That's
what
the little
that
dirt-
came
It's
from?
It's
the
really
garbage.
tough to know, but it's true.
It's-
A garbage man told me that.
It's
Yeah.
the worst kept secret in the city is that a lot of, maybe, I don't know if maybe not all of it, but a big amount of the recycling is not recycled in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, period. And so
Yeah,
ultimately,
I try, but I'm
So
like,
hypothetically-
I'm hoping it's getting
Yeah.
recycled.
yeah,
but
and the other thing is financially there may not be an incentive, because I mean, this is where you would need like this auditor come in and say, okay, well, who's going to put the little indicator in the trash and see if it actually goes in the recycling or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, who is auditing this stuff to actually make sure that what is happening is supposed to be happening? So there's all kinds
Because
of
in theory,
of
it's great.
questions.
Yeah.
Recycling. I mean, it's awesome, but
Yeah.
there are people that I remember cutting my hand on a can really bad, and that's when the guy told me.
Yeah.
Because I cut my hand. It was bad, and he was
And he's
like,
it's not even worth it.
"You're working so hard cleaning these things," and I'm like,
So we just
great.
toss them in the trash anyway, with
Great.
everything else, So that's a legitimate question that should be asked.
Yeah.
This whole idea that
I also think you should have flexibility based on household sizes.
Yeah.
Like, you can get your initial, but it's like, there's no reason you can't. I mean, other cities do it. You can have trucks with different size toters. It's like, oh, you have a family of this size. Well, okay, you either
Right.
get multiple toters as part of the deal, or you get the larger ones. Like,
yeah.
and then like, oh, you have to upgrade years later. Well, turn it in and get a credit towards buying a new one or something.
Right.
I don't know. But it needs to be a lot more flexible, I think.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I know is out of the whole deal, the only entity in this whole deal who I think is absolutely benefiting, that I know, that I'm sure is benefiting, is Casella. That's the only. I don't know if the city is saving money. I know the people aren't saving anything because they're losing this service that we have, unlimited trash pickup. Now you may, you can look at that and say, well, we shouldn't have it. Other communities don't have it. Well, Richmond does have it. But that's something that, so you are taking something away from the people, right now. What are you giving them back in exchange? Are you giving them a tax break in exchange? I don't think so, because $80,000 isn't going to amount to anything on the tax rate.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to the 30 cents off my property taxes next year.
30 cents.
"Wow."
30 cents.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's 42 cents.
Oh man.
Oh, so yeah.
When I was looking to buy a house, I was told, my mortgage broker was like, just look outside of Pittsfield because the taxes are just too high. And I had to stick to a certain tax bracket. If I wanted, the kind of house that I wanted, it was like, okay, you need to be under, I think it was $6,000 a year. I had to be $6,000 a year or less for taxes. So there were certain neighborhoods that I was kind of looking in. And so I found that, but now the taxes are well over.
I mean,
that.
yeah. I mean, because I bought my house in 2019, at the end of 2019, and it's doubled in value, which I mean, that's COVID. I mean, everything has gone up. It is what it is, but yeah, it's crazy to think about it. Like, I think I looked at like 2 or 3 houses total in Dalton when I was first looking, and I was like, these are a lot of work projects to go through, because that was the budget I could afford for my house.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was like, ugh.
It was tough. It was like, okay, this house, I'm like right almost to the $6,000 tax mark, but the house didn't need a lot of work.
Yeah.
Versus a house in like Lenox or Dalton that needed a lot. It was just so we ended up in Pittsfield.
There you go. So Susan says, lots of effort on saving $80K. Why aren't they concentrating on the proposed $216+ million budget? In other words, go after some of the big items. I mean, they always say trash is a big item, but where's the big savings? That's really, like I said, I know Casella's going to benefit. They're going to reduce workers' comp liability. They're going to reduce their workforce, and I know they say they're going to keep the people on, but come on, we know they're going to dramatically either save money or benefit in their operation.
Right, and if they're
in some
cutting
way, shape,
people,
or
I mean,
form.
that's unfortunately getting rid of good jobs.
Right.
Like, those are decent paying jobs.
Yeah. So, that and all those years ago, I was the one who made the motion to file the last toter proposal because they wanted to take $1.5 million out of free cash to pay for the toters up front for the vendor. Now, basically, they're sort of subsidizing the vendor because the savings aren't that high. That's really what's happening here. So instead of taking the money straight out of free cash, they're basically having less of a savings for the city over time, so Casella can pay for those upgrades. I mean, it's kind of obvious what's happening there. So to me,
so Casella's not going to be sponsoring the show anytime soon.
Probably. I mean, we love Casella. We love the guys. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they are amazing.
Yes, they are.
And they get there, and they hit our house like right on the nose, 7:00. Every Thursday morning.
So mine's wildly inconsistent.
Yours
Oh,
is. Well,
really?
ours is. Well, ours is
it's-
not. We're like, I mean, if I don't get that trash out by 7 a.m.,
No.
I miss it.
I mean, I've had it sometimes show up at 9 in the morning. They're pulling trash. Other times it's like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
my mail.
Well, because
the
they-
same way. There's some reason my neighborhood. They're just like, we'll get to it. Like when we get to it. I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
See, we're-
understand
we're right
how
at
it's
the
just so
beginning.
inconsistent.
We're at the beginning of the route.
We're at the beginning of the
and
route,
we can
so-
hear them when they're on the bottom half of Caratina.
Yeah.
So like if our window's open, I'm like he'll jump out of bed and then I'll forget that it's
No,
Thursday.
no. That doesn't happen anymore.
You
I
do.
put my alarm on. You know,
I
come
know,
on.
but
That
I
happened.
mean, and then I'm like, "Where are you
What-
going?" And he's like,
Don't-
"The garbage."
Don't make. Don't, come on. Don't make it sound like that.
So thanks for reminding me. I do have to put the garbage
Right,
cans out
yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
I don't like to
It's
put it out.
not every.
No, it's
Thursday.
never. It happened like once or twice.
Just joking with you,
So,
John.
Car, you're such a
Aw.
sweetheart.
All right, guys, I'm gonna let go.
You're gonna do a photo shoot. How about that? Car, will you? Susan Corncold says you guys are amazing. Oh, Susan, that's very sweet. That's very sweet of you. So, so there we are. So, yeah, we put the link in there. Do us a favor, check out that Buy Me a Coffee link. Support the show there as we're looking to build this up, which is amazing.
And we
build up
are
the
thinking
newsletter.
about doing some sort of dating or meeting up or something
Yeah.
with the blend, maybe
Nice.
once a month. I
Nice.
think that'd be super fun.
I think people want to get together.
Yeah.
I think people want to get together. I think people want to be out more. And so, especially people who are busy.
And hopefully we can find a way to go live
we'll go
from
live.
the locations.
Because here's the thing. I mean, just right now we can go live here because we have a super fast, there's a lot of data that's being pushed out live when we do this. So, having the high speed internet here is great. But when we don't have it, we're not here,
Right.
then it's kind of
Gets
a
a little-
challenge.
gets a little tough.
If we have
Yeah.
a studio, I mean, if you just have your phone, you can do
Yeah.
that anywhere. That's not a big deal. But if you have this, there's a lot going through the system here. So
It's very high tech.
maybe you know someone who can help us with that.
I mean, I know a guy.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Marc Wrzesinski! It's great to see you again,
Yeah,
man.
so good to see you.
I mean, I even got my hair cut for you to.
I know it.
The kids are going to be so excited. They call him Uncle Mark.
Uncle
Mark.
Riz, come on,
Uncle
let's be as cool as
Riz.
possible. Yeah.
Which is
Uncle
amazing.
Riz.
Yeah.
I mean, having the Riz, and that's what the kids are saying today too. Is that's Riz.
Riz. Yeah.
That's Riz.
You got Riz.
or whatever.
I was just saying, I told my barber I would shout him out
Oh, yeah.
because I love Chris. He's been my barber for years
Where
now.
is he?
Lennox Legacy.
Okay.
Lennox
I've,
Legacy,
I've,
Chris.
I've been
Okay.
following him since Elm Street.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, he was on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Down
Did
the
he do
Lennox.
your beard too?
No, this was
You
me.
do a good
Yeah.
job.
That's meticulous.
Yes.
I'm OCD about the beard.
Your beard is
It's
my beard was
meticulous.
never. Maybe I would still have the beard if it was that meticulous.
I think Papa Chops trimmed your beard one time. It looked really good. Did he trim your beard?
Maybe I
Yeah.
can't, I think so.
Yeah, I think
but it
so.
grows back so quickly.
Yeah,
So it's
it
just
really
like
did.
Like I said, you have to be OCD.
Yeah.
you have to be OCD.
It's like-
so, all right. So this is when Cara and I were talking, and I was back in Newton. So this is back in 2020, and we would talk on the phone for like hours.
In the middle of the summer there.
In the middle
Probably
of the summer.
July, August.
And so
We only saw each other one night a week.
Yeah. So we talk on the phone quite a
Yeah.
bit. So I would be on the phone. I'd have my headphones in with my iPhone, and then I'd be like going, trimming the thing. And she'd be like, "What is that?
Oh
What
yeah,
is
it's
that?"
right by the mic. You're
It-
like doing
it-
this like click.
and she gets so irritated by it. I'm like, I'm just like, what are you doing? I'm like, I barely even know you. Why are you yelling at me?
I was not yelling.
I'm just
See, that's why I knew I liked her.
And I'm like, I'm trying to,
I was like, are you even listening
Are you,
right now?
are you even listening? And I'm like, well, I mean, we're talking for hours, so at some point I have to like do some maintenance here.
And then sometimes you'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like we'd be
Go
on the
figure.
phone for 4 or 5 hours, and then I would like talk, and I talked a lot. Apparently, he told me
Basically,
later.
I mean, Cara can talk.
Nah, I don't.
In case-
I don't believe you.
In case you didn't notice, she can really.
Yeah.
She can talk.
How many times did you fall asleep though with him talking?
Sometimes.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we would talk. It was late at night, and I would be like falling asleep. But like, then I'd all of a sudden hear him like snore a little bit, and I'm like, all right, John, get some sleep.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
night.
Yeah. Yeah. I do not have a difficult time falling asleep.
Right
generally.
away.
Like if I
Boom.
hit the
Puts his head on the pillow. Done.
Yep. Hi.
Yep.
Do you go to sleep?
No.
I thought most
I
guys are
don't.
like that. No.
No.
I don't.
No.
I've got to read. I've got to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I need my fan on, like, I need my white noise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to have the whole setup. That's how. I mean, there could be all kinds of stuff going on.
He laid his head on that pillow last night, he had his glasses on, and he was snoring within 1 minute. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, I'm tired. I'm like, okay. So I put my headphones in. And he went to sleep, and I watched a show on my iPad.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you make it work.
Yep.
That's how you make it work. Okay. Well, we love you, Mark.
Thank you.
So good to see you.
We covered a lot of ground here. Border wash shoots.
Yeah, so if anybody
trash.
wants a shoot,
Yeah,
give Mark
Do
a
you-
call.
Yeah, I mean, he's busy now. Don't, you know,
Yeah.
like you got to get in that calendar. But if you want your board wash shoot,
We'll talk later in the summer, when graduation season is finally ended.
Yeah.
we'll put your link up there. But how can people get in touch with you, Mark?
Go right through the link. It's the easiest.
All right. We'll pop that up there. And Car, we have. Don't forget everyone who comments. So
Bracelet,
everyone, do me a favor
Park Lane.
and give us a like on the video. If you like and you comment, you're in the running for the Park Lane bracelet. And then also don't forget we have the Buy Me a Coffee link there. Check that out and support the podcast. And one more comment. Bev Kroll says hi, John and Cara,
Hi.
and hello to one of my favorite shutterbugs.
I mean, her favorite shutterbug. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
What is a
yeah.
shutterbug?
Click, click. Come on.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
I knew she was talking about me right away.
You and what, Ben Garver? Is that your other favorite one?
All right, I'm in there. All right, we're in good company then.
All right. Well, everyone, have a great night. We love you all, and we'll see you soon.
Have a great night.
Thanks for having me.